Welcome back to Living Local. Joining us today, we have Dr. Brittany Bryant here, and we also have Dr. Kevin Gray. Thank you both for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so today, let's start off. We're talking about the Youth Collaborative. Dr. Gray, tell us what that is.
So we're really excited about this. This is an effort that's launched really across educators, clinicians, researchers at MUSC because we're really focused on this topic of adolescent substance use. It's something that is really important in terms of the growth and trajectory of our young people in society, and we really wanted to come together and really try to address this issue in every way possible. Going all the way from prevention and education services for younger children and for families, and then getting into adolescents who may be having trouble with substance use and addressing it with clinical services. And then the next step beyond that is doing research to try to advance treatments. So we really are interested in making a real impact here locally in Charleston and the surrounding area, and ultimately we hope that we serve as a model for other places in terms of addressing adolescent substance use.
And that's what I was just thinking. This is really special here. We should be really proud that this is coming from our area, correct?
This is one of these things where we punch above our weight, as they say. We're a little old Charleston, but we realize we have a lot of expertise across all these areas, and we're really passionate about addressing this issue. So having a group like this together, it sort of naturally has happened.
Okay. Well, Dr. Bryant, he talked a little bit about some of the services, but can you give us a little more information? It's like, the Youth Collaborative, it's the entry point to all of this because it has many layers. Can you tell us about some of those?
So, of course, we have the research portion. We also have clinical services, which we're really excited about. And so we have the Motivate program. And with the Motivate program, we are really geared towards providing individual services, but also group services to our adolescents. And then the really cool piece that we've also added on is parent education. And so for a lot of our adolescents who are going through this process, it's a difficult time. We're asking them to make a lot of different changes, but we're also bringing their parents into the fold so that they have a really good understanding about how to support their kid as they're going through that process as well.
Because you're learning, I'm sure that, it starts at home, and if they're educated, have the tools, then it continues to go.
Sure, but also when we think about our kids who not only, have stresses at home, some of them have the stresses at school, and some of their support groups and that kind of thing. And so we want them not only to be aware of how to, weave in and out of these different situations, but we also want their parents to be completely aware of what their kids going through, have a better understanding about how challenging this process can be, but also have the tools and the skills that they need to be able to support throughout the time.
And like opening up the lines of communication that may or may not be currently open, right? Absolutely. Okay, so Dr. Gray, what about this one? Who do you think would be a good candidate for this if you were just thinking about it as a whole?
So what we really try to do is make it as easy as possible to think, am I concerned about how do I talk with my middle schooler about preventing substance use? I work with a school and we're really interested in prevention services. I just discovered that my teenager is drinking and I'm not quite sure what to do about it. Or even the far end of the spectrum is a teenager or young adult who is really gotten into a pattern of repeated use, is failing or dropped out of school, is getting into some criminal difficulties, et cetera, related to this. And so really the full spectrum. And our thought is that we're here to try to support and intervene at any stage, right? All the way from preventing it starting, but also if it's really advanced and gotten to be a serious problem, we're here to help.
And this is a pretty innovative approach to all of this, correct?
Yes, what we're trying to do is it's much less about the idea of assessing blame or judging, and it's much more understanding is that addiction and then substance use related to that is really is biological, psychological, and social, meaning that it's very natural that teenagers are interested in fitting in with others, they're interested in trying new things. Also, though, teenagers who may be prone to moodiness or depression or anxiety may be more likely than others. And then we also understand that a lot of addiction has to do with brain biology. And our thought is we're embracing all of those things and not just choosing one or the other. And it's very important to us to assess with any particular teenager or any family is what's driving this behavior and how can we equip them without judging, without blaming, how can we equip them to be as successful as possible with addressing it.
And I was just thinking about this, like, normally you either just do the clinical part, right, or the research part, but this is, when I was saying innovative, you're really being very efficient, right? Because you have them there, you're helping them through the I don't know if it's the counseling part and you know, the community outreach and all of that, but through that, you're also learning a lot, right?
Absolutely. And I don't know if you have additional pieces to add, but he said a really key point in the beginning, but assessing a lot of these pieces and parts in the beginning. And so I wanted to add to that, when you think about that whole piece, bringing your child in for the assessment is going to be really important, because we do have those points of reference where the parents will have those questions. Do I have questions about the intervention? Do I have questions about this part and that part? But when you bring them in for the assessment, it gives us the opportunity to really understand where this child best fits. Is this going to be a clinical piece where we can give them the prevention services or the intervention services that they need? Do I need to refer them over to one of our research components and studies so that they can get those pieces and parts that they may need as well?
Because it's not one size fits all.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, but before we go, I wanted to ask this real quick. A parent at home saying, you know, I'm a little hesitant, I don't know, you know, about having my child involved in this. I might have some questions, but it may be a little overwhelming or intimidating. What would you say to those parents?
I would tell them to give us a call. They can call the number that we have available, but they can also bring their kid into our clinic for an assessment. And so we want to be able to not only understand from the adolescent's point of view what's going on, but we also want to understand the concerns that the parents may be having as well.
All righty, Dr. Gray, anything else you want to add?
So really, this, as you say, is innovative because this is clinicians and researchers working together, right? And we have the same mission. We want to help young people and families. And so they're not in competition with each other, is that we want to provide the best clinical service in town and in the nation. At the same time, we realize there's room for improvement, and that's why we do research studies. And so adolescents and families who participate in research get access to care within the research, but also they're contributing to science because they're helping us understand what might enhance treatment. And so that's why we kind of work in concert with each other. And again, we're really interested in providing the best service to our community.
Perfect. Well, thank you both again for having me. I always learn so much when I come and visit you. All right, and for more information, as you can see, we have that number. It's 843-792-9257 right there on your screen. Or you can email youth@musc.edu. or text youth to 44332. Thanks again, and more Living Local coming your way. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.